So I'm running from the start to mile marker 240. That covers the start, it goes up to Laguna Salada, then comes back down, and a lot of whoops off the start. You hit the lake bed, it's gonna be hot, long, and the northern part of the loop's actually 15 miles as a crow flies from my house. So it's similar, super similar terrain to what I used to drive on every day, you know. So
Equipment, or you're gonna go balls to the wall.
Balls to the wall, baby!
Hey!
Keep that one.
We're here at Pete's Camp. This is where we decide to have our team meeting and our final team dinner before the Baja 500 tomorrow. We're in line ready to get some fish tacos and feed ourselves, and then we'll have a team meeting and finalize a lot of our logistics and get ready for tomorrow.
We're here, team dinner, chowing down on some tacos, beautiful Pete's Camp, and our final hoorah before we start tomorrow morning.
Yeah, so far, I mean, pre-running's been awesome. It's been incredible to be back down here in Baja. You know, we had a 9.5-month absence from last year's Baja 1000, and it's just a majestic place down here. We love it down here. The people are great. They're really taking the safety precautions and measures for COVID-19, so we feel safe, and it's just incredible to be back in this community. Typically, we're racing the Baja 500 in June, and due to COVID and just circumstances in the world, it got pushed back and it got canceled.
Anticipation, because it's canceled, then we're back, and then now we're here, and so.
We have a super stacked class, and both Christopher and I are ready to go. We've been doing a ton of homework here and a ton of testing. And
Coming down to Baja is a whole nother test. Baja is honestly one of the toughest places in the world.
You know, we're just thrilled to be down here in Baja. We haven't been down here in 9.5 months, and we just love the culture, the people, and just racing down here in Baja. Our truck, our team just thrives in this environment, and we can't wait for race day.
the guys back at the shop have been logging so many hours cranking on these cars, and you know, for us, we really want to make those guys, you know, make sure they're doing a good job, and they're killing it, and it's going to pay off for everybody if we can get these cars up to the finish line in a good spot.
It's race morning. We're here at the staging area to stage for the race. I got Evan Weller here, my navigator. He's prepped and ready to go, and just can't wait for this green flag to start. Starting so far back in the pack presents a lot of challenges for us. For example, right off the start, we're in 30-second intervals. So we'll start the race. We're going to be packed up with a lot of different race vehicles, different classes of vehicles.
Hand the car off at mile marker 240.
And then get back in at 360. Take her to the finish all the way to 500.
Yeah, racing on the east coast of the Baja Peninsula, over here on the Gulf side, it presents a really big challenge racing this time of year in September. We're going to see temps of triple digits, really high temps out on Laguna Salada. It's going to present a lot of problems for drivers, navigators. It's really going to be a test of survival out there.
Especially here in San Felipe, these whoops are no joke.
Super similar terrain to what I'm used to drive on every day by my house.
When they say San Felipe whoops suck, they're not lying. It is miserable. But I think the Honda Talons, we've done a ton of development on them, and I think this is going to be the true test, and I'm pretty confident going into it.
As far as our race strategy for the Ridgeline, I'm going to start the race, and I'm going to race the truck to a first splash and go at 80, then a full pit stop with rear tires at 160, another splash and go at 260, and then I'll be getting out of the truck at a complete pit stop at 360. Patrick Daly will then get in and take it 130 miles to the finish.
Getting the Baja 500 to win our first time ever racing, it'd be so rad. You know, I think we have a lot of eyes on us as Team Honda, then trying to work our way into the desert racing, so we have a ton of eyes on us.
We've been doing a ton of pre-running. We've made a couple hundred notes, and we want to make sure we make no mistakes and just get that car to the finish.
And to be up there in that group of guys that have won this race would be such a huge accomplishment for us.
Felipe's really, really rough race. I mean, we're gonna be pounding these whoops. We're gonna be putting the drivetrain and heat soaking everything in the truck to its absolute limits, not to mention our suspension going through all the rough of San Felipe, what it's known for. So the plan was to deliver a race vehicle that's intact, shocks working, drivetrain working, and he can power onto the finish line and put this thing on the box.
The 2 bottom washes at the end of the race are gnarly. I hadn't ran them until yesterday, and there's a couple spots that remind me of Hammer's trails. It's like going through, picking your way through rocks and all, and I wasn't really expecting that for a Baja race like this, so I'm stoked that Score came in through some stuff like that at us.
I'm a newbie. I raced the Nora, which is just kind of a fun race, and I raced here in short course, but to come down here and get a Baja 500 win, especially here in San Felipe, would mean so much. It'd be pretty rad, especially with the whole Honda team. We've been working our butts off to get here, so it'd just show how rad these Honda Talons are. For me, I got a short course pace. I always want to go 110%, so especially for here, Baja 500 and San Felipe, I'm really gonna have to tune her back. You know, we're gonna cruise 60% and just get to the finish, and then when we need to push, we'll push.
With the i4-wheel drive setup and 6-speed transmission, they're so quick and nimble, and you know, I think that we have a good shot with how technical this race is gonna be to make up some time there.
But I think the big game on race day will be getting to the finish.
The day went great. You know, it's always great to be down here in Baja, and you know, we prepare a lot of hard work from this entire team to get down here, and you know, it's for the most part a pretty uneventful day, which is good for a very, very rough San Felipe Baja 500 course. Had a lot of dust off the start. There was no wind, and we just kind of navigated through that and made our way through a lot of the slower classes. And you know, by 160 we finally saw some open air, so the first 160 miles was pretty intense, but once we got to 160 it started to open up a little bit and started to gap P2, and we just kind of checked out from there. And we got a split halfway through the race that we had a 80-mile lead, and we backed it down and just needed to preserve this truck because it's so rough out there. So we backed it down, and we're really cognizant of hitting rocks and just taking care of our tires and the whole truck. And man, I can't say enough about this Honda team.
We had a good time once we got in, and you know, just kind of cruised to the finish, and finishing in daylight's pretty awesome, that's for sure.
Gosh, these guys worked so hard out there in the pits. Our pits were flawless. All the preparation paid off, and we got the win. Woohoo!
You know, there's definitely a lot of eyeballs on us, and with the way that Jeff Proctor and Honda brought this program about, they did such an awesome job getting us like a ton of exposure and attention. So all eyeballs are drawn to Christopher and I trying to make these cars get across the finish line, and I'm stoked. I like the pressure. It's cool to have these people watching us and all the attention, but you know, there's a lot of good guys in the field, and we just got to try and work with them and see what we can do at the end.
It means a ton for American Honda to back this team from a power sports standpoint with the Honda Talons, and the Ridgeline standpoint from the auto division. They're excited. It's been a wacky year for everybody, even in corporate America. So for us to get back to racing, they're excited for us. They can't wait to hear about our accomplishments on race day.